Greetings and welcome everyone to our second session for GatherVerse Summit 2024, day 3, our final day, as we move forward from a very expressive discussion and roundtable discussion on the future of the workplace and how it's operating contemporary. We come to a fireside discussion with our GatherVerse community member and friend, Stefan Youngblood. Stefan, how are you? Your mic, sir.
There we go. I'm doing great. How are you doing, Chris? You're doing it, man. This is an incredible gathering of people, and you keep doing it. So it's pretty amazing to see.
I'm definitely happy that we're afforded the opportunity to be able to all gather here globally, with everyone assembling here at GatherVerse.live and on our other social streams. Stefan, let's go on an excursion for a moment.
Okay.
Let's set the stage, and
I do that often.
I know you do, and we're about to do it right now because we're in the cockpit and we're headed to the stratosphere with this. Can AI see me? And for audience, for those that are with us, the subject begs the discussion. It lends to having this discussion. Just last week, we assembled with Stefan's organization, Black in AI. It's not limited to our Black community members. We have all different types of people that arrived and showed up to Black AI. We had over 400 people at this particular session and talking about AI and what it means for Black communities and all different types of communities. And I ask this is because there's a real authentic question in terms of what's being deployed and built and developed with these large language foundational models. Can it detect me? Can it see me? Not just by my physical stature, not just by the color of my skin, but my culture. Can AI recognize and identify me? Stefan, what do you got?
Well, number one, that word see, I don't know if you're opening that up to interpretation outside of perceiving with our vision, because see actually also means understand and sort of get where someone is. Hey, Lachey, how's it going?
Lachey.
Now we see Lachey. But here's the thing. The amount of data that is out there and circulating sort of ubiquitously right now on each of us, the fact that my picture's up here and Chris yours and Lachey, it sees us. So AI clearly sees a lot of things and is gathering information about us. Lastly, I'll say this really quick. Sam Altman said that one of his greatest fears, he said this when he was taking an award for Time magazine, December last year, was that all of this data that's out there for each one of us, I mean, they're picking it from here and picking it from there, somehow it would gather in one place and know us so well because it's been customized that it would be able to change our thoughts and our decision making. So it's so ubiquitous in the way that it sees us, and sure, in the physical makeup and all that too. There's a lot going on behind the scenes right now.
Thank you for sharing that, Stefan. And Lachey, we certainly do welcome the opportunity to gather with you with the minutes that we have. It comes and leaves as quick as it arrives. And when we think about what we're looking at in the subject matter, can AI see me? Can it see any of us? We are not just talking about our physical disposition of what we can see by and what it can see, but detect by multimodal capability and our visual interfaces, biometrics. That's one. That's one single variable equation, but it's certainly a multivariable equation. But can it see me? Can it detect me? My cultural input when I'm communicating with it and its output doesn't always add up.
That's right.
Yeah. So one thing I thought about, like when this question was posed, was and y'all analytics out there, I'm kind of geeky. So I thought of VAVE, which is value analysis, value engineering, right? And it's that proposition of what's the value in a product, what's the value in us as people to be seen. And then I kind of broke it down in my head, like, okay, the fact that, being seen, it can be visibly, right? What you were talking about, Stefan, can it visibly be seen? But also as in, acknowledging, right? Am I acknowledged within AI as a value add, right? The other V that I was thinking about, like I said, I'm really geeky, was that validation. Is AI really acknowledging my struggle? Is it really acknowledging,
that's good.
am I seeking that validation as black and brown, within the AI system. And the E, we throw around the word empowerment all the time, but is it really giving me those opportunities in AI to be seen? Right? So, like I said, I'm really geeky, I'm really analytical. So just that terminology, Vave, just made me think of just two different realms in the scene, but also, are we valued?
Oh,
Are we
that's good.
valued? And how can we become that value add within the AI ecosystem that's being developed,
That's
right?
great.
And I
Um,
have to and to acknowledge that you two have been such advocates, and very specifically for Black communities, because I am such an advocate for all inclusive culture. But I
yeah.
certainly, as a Black man, I just think it's so important to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to do their parts for their own communities to contribute to the overall greater development of these models. And because we're heading into a world where we're becoming more dependent, if you will, in our work processes and methods and what's rendered out on these AI machines. And we're also developing relationships with these platforms as well.
Right.
We start thinking about equitable collaboration and collaborative decision making and emotional and social learning. How can it be to our advantage and benefit to offer us the best of what its intention is according to its maker? How can it serve the benefit and advantage of us if there's nobody in these rooms that come from the different cultures that we come from? Not just with Black communities. I'm even talking about when it comes to gender. I'm talking about cross-cultural
Right.
communication and development. How can we expect for these AIs to live up to the best of what it is that the Sam Altmans and the Ilya Sisters and the Satya Nadellas, if you will, who all have brilliant minds for innovation, but could they be limited based on their backgrounds, their surroundings, and their environments, and not really truly know that if you do not build with more people and more different communities around the world globally and democratize access, you're going to have a bigger problem in your hand in this disinformation age.
That's exactly what's happening right now. And I think, I'm about to speak at a conference a little bit later today. I think sometimes the community that's not Black, and we could say some of the white community, they think, wow, AI is big. That's the word that comes out. And sometimes when we first start talking about it in the Black community, we say, wow, AI is biased. That's that's what we see, and we see the opportunity that is big. I was working with a company using their product. They're in Australia. I think there's 3 people working for it right now. And I was trying to do a website and I needed some specific pictures. But the bottom line is they just didn't have it. He said, we're only pulling from a certain resource right now, but we need something else. Now, this is the founder CEO. They built 2.5 million sites right now. This is 1 year later after they launched. And he said, we need those pictures. So we have this resource over here for photos, but we need more. We need what you're doing right now, Chris, in building communities and getting people out there, and what Lachey is doing. I mean, we've been working on some projects for quite a while now, and she's heavily in the Atlanta scene and what's happening down there. So I just say absolutely yes, we have to be here, and it's this type of presence that helps it right now.
And I just want for both of you to share briefly, why have you gone into the work that you do and representing underserved and underrepresented communities in a way of seeing beyond the prejudices of what people may think that we gather for and have these discussions in the first place? Why do you do this? Because I know that you are looking much further ahead into the advancements of innovation itself.
Lachey.
Yeah, so I'll chime in and say that it is the building of legacy, right? I mean, when we talk about needing to look beyond ourselves, that's one thing, but also the needing to build beyond ourselves and build inclusively. This is a huge world, and we're just in the microcosm of a piece of the world. And for me to get into it is to kind of expand what we have the capabilities to do, and that is kind of a coming together as a global unit. there are pieces of the pie for us to make up us's of the world. And we just want to make sure that we're a part of that piece of the pie, that we're plugging in as a piece of the pie. And when I'm talking about the us's, yes, we are talking about BIPOC because we are the pieces that are usually missing from that piece of the pie when it comes to technology, when it comes to that new innovation that's out there. We're normally not at the table helping to build. We're normally not at the table putting our input into how it should be built.
That's good.
And for our part is to actually be able to say, hey, we have experts in this arena. Put us on these committees, put us on on these teams. But also we're coming together and saying, hey, we can build too. We can be part of this process and we can build too.
Yeah.
All right, Stefan.
Thanks. That's really good. I'll just say really quick that, Chris, April 1968, I know where I was. My parents put 8 of us in a station wagon and went down to Washington, D.C. just after these demonstrations and riots happened after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The city was smoldering. I was 7 years old, and I'll never get that out of my mind. Here I am, 62 years old now, and this struggle is still happening. I'm looking at a whole new world of AI where we're seeing some of these same biases. You put in this and you get that. Well, we have to have the inclusion of us in an equitable way, and I know you love that. So we bring our cultures fully into it and who we are fully into it, but it takes advocates in each of these areas standing up, and we work together. I got into this because I help in a socioeconomic way. I work with the homeless here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm always looking to see who's not at the table. You don't know this, Chris, but right after this, at the workshop I'll be doing, that's my theme. We have to see who's not at the table. And I'm going to actually highlight a restaurant that a lady started 5 miles from my house called A Place at the Table. She literally wanted to give a place to everyone, regardless of where they were financially. So there's a lot of homeless, and the homeless come and work, and they work with other people, and it's a restaurant for everyone. So we just want a place at the table where we're all working together.
And with that said, with the 1 minute we have, permit me to chime in on everything that you both have said. Like I said, it arrives quick and it leaves even sooner and faster. About this table, I have described myself as a table maker.
Yeah.
The idea, the notion, and the idea that I'm even at this point, and I certainly am with you on that stuff, and that I'm even asking anyone to sit at their table. I'm coming to appreciate that I don't want to sit at a table that doesn't want me. I'd rather build my own table, but build my table to give to others that want to have their own table. These are uncomfortable conversations for people to hear. I realize even within the GatherVerse community, but we will continue to have these conversations, not just limited to our Black communities, but it's just that important because it speaks to the ethos of our standards when we talk about equity and equality and ethics. And we must come to these conversations openly and come as you are, and we come and arrive with peace at this discussion. Audience, please follow these two. Give them a look. Come see what it's like on the other side of things so that we can relate and be able to build more inclusively together. No one's biting you. No one's fighting you. We're all friends. Take good care. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Chris.
Absolutely. And audience, it's now just that quick. Time to come to our next round.